Hey loves, and welcome back to Unlock the Men's Journey. I'm your host, Deasia, and this is Phase 2, Tools and Transformation. Today we're stepping into episode 7, Healthy Communication and Vulnerability. Now, this is where healing really starts to show up in how you speak, how you listen, and how you let people in. Because let's be honest, a lot of us learn how to survive, not how to communicate. I don't even know why that's so funny, but it's kind of funny. And when survival becomes like your language, everything just starts to sound like defense, pride, or silence. But that's not love, that's fear in disguise. So let's talk about communication first. Healthy communication. Let's talk about that, okay? So healthy communication is not about being right. It's about being real. It's not about being the loudest person. It's about talking clear. And it's not about proving a point. It's about building understanding. See, a lot of men were never taught how to speak from the heart without feeling weak. You were taught to toughen up, not open up, to fight back, not talk it out, to say I'm good when you're really not good at all. But real strength is not in silence, but it's in honesty. Because when you can look somebody in the eye and say, that hurt me, or I'm scared, or I need a minute to calm down before I respond, that's not weakness. That's growth. That's maturity. That's emotional control rooted in awareness, not avoidance. Now let's get into vulnerability. That word makes some people's skin crawl. But hear me out. Vulnerability isn't soft. It's sacred. And it's not something that you make. It's not something that makes you feel lesser than a man. Let me put it that way. It's something that makes you human. Vulnerability says, I trust myself enough to be seen. And I'm not afraid to be misunderstood while being honest, okay? I don't have to wear a mask to be respected. And you don't realize how powerful that is until you've been hiding for so long that you forget what your real voice even sounds like. And when you finally speak from that place, that raw, unfiltered truth, people will feel you. So don't think that they just gonna hear your words. They're gonna hear your spirit, okay? So let's talk about arguments for a second. Most people don't realize that communication breaks down not because of what's said, but because of what's not heard. When your walls go up, your ears shut down, and you start listening to respond instead of listening to understand. If that makes sense. You're listening to respond, to say something back, instead of listening to understand where someone is coming from. And when that happens, nobody wins. Now, healthy communication requires emotional discipline. And that's the ability to slow down, breathe, and choose presence instead of pride. Because sometimes the real power, it isn't in saying the last word. It's saying, I hear you. That's how you build bridges instead of barriers. And that's how you shift from arguments into alignment. Now let's address something deeper. Vulnerability does not mean you tell everyone every fucking thing. It means you tell the right people the real things. There's a difference between oversharing and opening up. And there's a difference between venting and being seen. True vulnerability, I'm sorry y'all. True vulnerability is about discernment. It's about knowing when your heart is safe to be honest and when it's not. It's being brave enough to express your truth, but wise enough to protect your peace. And I want you all to know, and I want to say this to the men who've been shut down before. I know it's hard to open up after being mocked, dismissed, or betrayed when you tried to open up. And I know that silence can fucking start to feel safer than expression. But silence is also where pain festers. You can hurt yourself and others. And you deserve spaces where your truth isn't minimized or gets minimized. You deserve connections where you saying I'm not okay is met with understanding and not shame. And if you don't have that space yet, start creating it within yourself. Start journaling, start recording, voice notes, start praying out loud, start making music, but really fill your music up with your true feelings. Let your emotions have air, Because the more you practice releasing them and less controlling them, the less they will control you. Healthy communication starts inside. Before you can speak clearly to others, you have to speak honestly to yourself. So ask yourself this: what am I actually feeling right now? What do I need from this moment? And am I trying to be heard, or am I trying to be right? That level of awareness changes everything. Because once you learn how to communicate with yourself, you stop expecting other people to read your silence. My thing is, what makes you think anybody could read your mind? You start to show up with clarity, not confusion. And a lot of us get stuck in confusion because we will state our boundaries, we'll state this, we'll state that, but we don't stick to it. So let me leave you with this. Vulnerability is not a one-time thing. It's a practice. Every time you choose truth over ego, you're healing yourself. Every time you choose to listen instead of defending, you're growing. And every time you say, this is how I feel, instead of pretending not to feel anything, you're transforming. You're becoming the man who no longer hides from love, and you embody it. And that's the goal of this journey. To not just unlock your voice, but to unlock your heart. That's the whole concept of unlock. So this has been Unlock, the Men's Journey. Episode 7, Healthy Communication and Vulnerability. I hope this message sits with you all in the places you've been silent. And I hope you remember that your voice, your truth, and not too much is medicine. Until next time, keep unlocking, and I'll see you all in episode 8.